Good morning, sir.
Can you hear me clearly?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So now today we will be starting about this particular course of fifth unit.
Sir.
The topic for today's lecture is programmable logic devices. This is a topic as per our university course is concerned. It comes under the chapter number 5 or unit number 5. In that one, today we are going to complete in this long session of nearly 2.5 hours. We are going to complete this first half of your unit 2, unit
Sir,
5. Okay.
excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, please don't exceed 2 hours, sir. Why? Because last time only by exceeding 10 minutes for the next session, we all got absentees for that period. Sir
Okay,
did not
fine,
allow
fine,
us for
fine.
whole period.
Fine. Then we'll wind it up by somehow by 12 o'clock. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay. Session. This lecture for today's class is programmable logic devices. Today we'll try to understand what is meant by programmable logic device and what are the types of the programmable logic device, how they are being used in computing different kinds of integrated circuits and what are its advantages and disadvantages, how an integrated circuit is being helpful with the help of this programmable logic devices. So let us now enter into this particular concept called programmable logic devices. First, in this first part of this lecture, I have divided this lecture into 3 different parts, where the first part of your lecture will be completely depending upon what is meant by a programmable logic device. Then after that, it will be regarding the FPGA, that is a field programmable gate array, and later last one will be CPLD, complex programmable logic devices. So this is how our lecture goes on now. So first we'll try to study the details regarding what is meant by programmable logic devices. In this one, in this first part of this lecture, we'll be studying about the history of this programmable logic device, then the definitions, afterwards the programmable logic devices, what are the programmable logic devices, its purposes and advantages, and also types of the programmable logic device. After that, we'll study about the configuration and we'll conclude the first part of this lecture. So this is about the roadmap which I have considered for this first part of the lecture. So let us now enter into this part. History. If you see the history of this programmable logic devices, this programmable logic device, first it is PLAs, that's a programmable logic arrays, which were first introduced in 1970s, about 1970s, and PLDs, that's a programmable logic devices, were about 1980s. Then comes the field programmable gate array, which is called as an FPGA, which was introduced in 1985, around in 1985. And after that, in that particular field programmable gate array only, we will be studying about a chip called Xilinx logic cell array. This is one kind of chip of type of FPGA. So this is regarding the history of what is regarding different types of programmable logic devices. Now, definitions. If you see the definition of this particular programmable logic device, it is also called as a field programmable logic device. It was initially, it was called as FPLD, where we are trying to concentrate on the entire field of integrated circuit, where you are supposed to program that particular logics. So it is also called as a field programmable logic device, an integrated circuit chip that can be configured by user to implement different digital hardware. So a PLD is nothing else but it's an integrated circuit. You might have used an FPGA boards or CPLD boards in your laboratory, where we will be dumping or you will be downloading your entire program which has been designed in Xilinx, that will be downloaded onto this boards. So it is an user friendly boards. This PLDs are the user friendly boards. It's a, first of all, it's an integrated circuit. It has got a chip. That integrated circuit which is configured by the user. The user can configure that one. It means that he can change and reuse that program. It's a programmable one, which you can always, you can program, reuse that one. It's a programmable one. This logic devices are the programmable. Since they are configured by the user, they are called as a programmable logic device. Why do they configure? In order to implement the hardware, in order to implement different digital hardwares. So this is regarding what is meant by PLDs, minimum basic definition of minimum basic definition of PLD. Now let us see what is the purpose of PLD. The purpose of PLD is that it will help us, or it will permit us, in order to elaborate the digital logic designs which are being implemented by user on a single device. It will be helping us to elaborate the designs where how to it gives a clear picture about how an program is working, and that can be easily understood when you download that program onto the CPLD or FPGA boards, or whatever maybe it's called. In general, it is called as an PLD boards. And also it is capable of being erased. You can erase that program, and also you can reuse that program. You can rewrite the program, and again you can download the program onto the PLD. That is what I have written here. It is capable of being erased and reprogrammed with a new design. So every time you can erase the program which is downloaded on a on this FPGA board, and again or whatever it may be, in general it is a PLD boards, you can erase it and you can reuse that one. You can again download a new program onto the CPLD boards. So that is the main purpose of this PLD boards. So this is the advantages of PLDs. And here in this particular graph, you can see the difference between a PLD and an ASIC. ASIC is nothing else but application specific integrated circuit. Here you can see that one. It is a graph which tells about cost and also volume. It has been graphed between a cost and the volume. As the volume is increasing, you can see this one. This particular PLD is a cost effective in lower volumes. When it comes to the lower volume, it is a cost effective one. But when it comes to the ASIC, even in the lower volumes, it's not that so cost effective. In the lower volume, whenever you are having less number of components on a FPGA board, it's a cost effective one. But compared to the ASIC, in the lower volumes, in this lower volume, it's not that so cost effective one. And short design time. This particular PLD takes a shorter design time. After that, another advantage is that it's well suited for the academics. We can use it nowadays. Every academic institution has got this particular FPGA board or the CPLD board or any kind of PLD boards, which are used for academic and also for prototyping. So this is a major difference and advantages between PLD and also ASIC. So another advantages, as we have just we have studied up to now, I have put it in terms of advantages. It is a programmability. It has got a good programmability. It is reprogrammability again. Once if you have programmed any kind of design, that can be again reused and it can be reprogrammable. The PLDs can be reprogrammed without being removed from the circuit board. You no need to remove that entire PLD from the circuit board. That chip is not been removed. You can erase that one with a interface between the software and hardware. You can erase that one, and again you can reprogram another kind of logic design. Again, it's a low cost of design. It's a cost effective one, and immediate hardware implementation has been possible with the help of this PLDs. You can connect this particular PLD to your software, and you can easily download the software, whatever the program you have written in the software, that can be easily programmed onto this PLD. Okay, these are the basic advantages of the PLDs. Now, types of PLDs. Let us see some few types of the PLDs. First one is called as the first type of PLD is called as an SPLD, which is nothing else but it is a simple programmable logic devices. Under the simple programmable logic devices, there are few kind of programmable logic devices. Let us see. First one is called as a ROM, that is a read-only memory. After that, it is a PLA, it's a programmable logic array. We'll be studying in detail about what is PLA and PAL, which are related to the CPLD. So we'll be studying in detail about PLA and PAL in coming slides. First one is a ROM, next one is a PLA, it's a programmable logic array. PAL, programmable array logic. Then the last type of SPLD is a GAL, it's a generic array logic. And after that, the next one is HCPLD. HCPLD, H stands for the high, and C is a complex programmable logic devices. In this complex programmable logic device, you can see that it is an high capacity programmable logic device. In this one, you'll be studying about first kind is complex programmable logic device, and the next type of HCPLD is field programmable gate array. So these are the basic two types of PLDs. First one is SPLD, and next type is HCPLD. So these are the two different types of PLDs. Now here in this particular lecture, you'll be studying about what is PAL, what is PAL, and after that you will be studying FPGA, and then we go to the point of this kind of type, that is a CPLD. So these are the different type of classifications we have done over here, types of PLDs. First one, PLD is classified into two types, SPLD and HCPLD. You can see that these are the four different types of SPLD, that's a ROM, PAL, PLA, PAL, and GAL, and the two types of high capacity programmable logic devices, complex programmable logic device, and FPGA, that's a field programmable gate array. So now let us see the definition of what is this field programmable device. We can see here now the general term that refers to any type of integrated circuit which is used for implementing any kind of digital hardware. It means that it's a kind of general term where you are going to implement, or where you are going to download a software program onto an hardware. So it's a general term which is used for implementing a digital hardware where a chip can be used. What is this one? This any kind of PLD is nothing else but it's an integrated chip. Don't get confused. If you might have seen in your laboratory a huge set of box which is called as an CPLD or FPGA, but inside that one you'll be having one chip. That chip is that particular chip is nothing else but FPGA or else CPLD. Only the chip. We are talking about the chip. Okay, so see now, where the chip can be configured by end user to realize different designs. So here in our case, the end users are we the users, like your faculty or your or you people who are using this one. The students or the faculty are the end users who can realize the different kinds of designs which have been programmed in a software by downloading that particular software onto the FPGA board or CPLD board. So now, programming of such a device often involves placing a chip into a special programming unit. So this is nothing else but that entire setup is called as a programming unit. But some chips can also be configured in system and in system. Okay, this is a configuration of where the entire setup can also be used without changing that integrated circuit. You can make it as a single system also. And the other name for this particular FPDs is a PLDs. So what is the name of a PLD? The PLD is generally called as programmable logic devices, and another name for this PLD is FPDs. That's a field programmable device. These are some of the different types of PLDs. The first type which I have given here, 16V8, it's a one type of PLD where it uses 20 pins. It can have 16 input, maximum of input 16 input pins will be there, and or it will be having 8 output pins, macro cells will be there, and also has got 32 input to each of the AND gates. So see now, in PLD, there are basically two types of PLD, as I told, that PAL or PLA. The designing of this PAL or PLA is been done with the help of AND gate or OR gate. The designing of this particular field array logic or logic arrays are been done with the help of AND gates or OR gates. So that's why you can see now this particular AND gates are being used. This AND gate has got 32 inputs to each of the AND gates. Coming to this one, the second type of PLD is 22V10. It has got 22 input pins and or 10 output, maximum 10 output pins. And this AND gates, coming to the AND gates, it has got 44 inputs which are connected to each of the AND gate. So these are different kinds of PLDs, just for making you understand how the pin connections and what is the configuration of the pins are being used in the PLDs. I have given this particular details in this slide. So now this one is a bigger one. Only for this 16V8 we are using 20, and again for 22V10 we are using 24. Then how about this one? It will be having some larger. This is a larger kind of PLD, where it has got more number of pins. So this is used for the larger applications. But when it comes for the larger application, definitely what happens, we are using large number of pins. See, and now for this one, we are using nearly 32 inputs are being used. For this one, we are using 44 inputs. But when it comes to this one, nearly it goes on more than this number. Then whenever the input pins, whenever the number of rails of this interconnections are being increased, then definitely what happens, a large amount of silicon chip area has to be used. Then if that is being used, and if more number of rails are there, if more number of interconnection lines are there, then definitely it takes longer amount of time for a signal to move from one point to another point. Because of that one, this kind of CPLDs which are used for the larger applications, definitely it will be of slower in nature, and it will also will require more amount of silicon chip, which is simply wasted. Okay, because of this interconnection, most of the silicon area will be wasted. So in order to overcome come up this kind of applications, they have gone for using of CPLDs, complex programmable logic devices. So this is one kind of CPLD. GAL, it's a kind of GL, generic array logic. This is how it looks like. You can see, different kinds of OR gates are there, AND gates. This is all the interconnections which I have told just now. A large number of interconnections have been used here, and this is the, you can see one flip-flop is been used over here, and this is how the CPLD or the PLD will be designed. So this is one type of design of a PLD. That is GAL16V8. See now, each output is programmable, has combinational or registered. You can here it's a combinational programmable can also be done. Why I'm talking about combinational programmable, because we can see depending upon this line, depending upon this control line, all this AND gates, all these gates are being programmed. So it can be programmable. All the combinational gates can be programmable, and also you can see all this even this line is this control line is connected to all the NOT gates. Here you can see, and or also it is directly connected to the registers. Registers means in our case it is a flip-flops which are used over here. So that is how this particular design will be working, and also has got a programmable output polarity. You can see all the outputs are programmable. You can use a tri-state buffer has been used over here. This is one input output, and also the third kind of input is that's why we call it as a tri-state buffer. So it is a tri-state buffer has been controlled with the help of this control signal. So that's why it's a programmable. All the outputs polarities are also programmable over here. This is regarding the AND plane, and OR plane. You can see that one OR gates have been used over here. And this is the XOR gates. XOR gates to make inverting or else non-inverting buffers. So this is how the complete GAL will be looking. First, you will be having an AND plane. This entire thing is an AND plane. Why? Because all these interconnections are connected to the AND gates. After that, you can see all the OR gates are connected. After that, you can see the XOR gates, which is mainly used as an for inverting or non-inverting of the buffer, which is connected over here. This is a buffer. So now let us see some details about classification of early programmable logic arrays. Up to now, we have seen in the only generally we have seen what is PLA, what is PAL, all those kind of things. We'll see now how they are being configured and how they are being designed. If it is a PLA, if I'm talking about PLA, which is called as a programmable logic array, a programmable logic array PLA is relatively small kind of programmable. It's a field programmable device that consists of, this is most important one. It consists of two levels of logic. The first kind of logic is a AND plane, and another kind of logic is a OR plane. Almost all the PLAs, kindly keep in your mind, almost all the PLAs are being designed with the help of two logics, two levels of logics. First one will be AND plane, and next one will be OR plane. Mostly it will be designed with the help of AND logic or else OR logic only. Both, it's a combination of AND and OR logics. So all the PLAs have been designed with the help of combination of AND and OR logic. So now it consists of two levels of logic, an AND plane or OR plane, where both levels are programmable. This is very important. That's the difference between PLA and PAL. Here both and or are programmable. You will understand in the coming slides what is meant by that programmable. Now coming to the PAL. Sorry. Coming to the PAL, a programmable array logic is relatively a small kind of, again, it's a field programmable device that has programmable and plain and the fixed or plain. In this PLA, both and or are programmable. Both are programmable, but when it comes to the PAL, only and is programmable, whereas the or is fixed one. If you see the diagrams, if you see that particular slides, you'll understand what is meant by this programmable and fixed planes. Okay, in the PAL, and plane will be programmable and or plane will be fixed one. Now coming to SPLDs, it's a simple programmable logic devices, which refers to any type of simple programmable logic device. Usually either it can be PAL or PLA. Now CPLD, we know that one. It's a type of this one. It's a type which is apart from this SPLD. It comes under HCPLD, high capacity CPLD. So CPLD, a more complex PLD that consists of any arrangement of multiple SPLDs. It means that a CPLD is being designed with the help of n number of multiple SPLDs, just like the blocks. You'll be using that PALs will be used as a block here, or else PLA has been used as a block in the HCPLDs, that's high capacity PLDs on a single chip. Coming to FPGA, it's a field programmable gate array. It's a kind of, again, field programmable device featuring general structures that allows very high logic capacities. So this is a general details regarding how the implementation of this PLA are been done. Now let us now enter into PLA. In the PLA, this is a design which I was talking about. Just now we have seen that what happens in the PLA, both are programmable and or planes are programmable. So see now. This is like this is how the structure looks. It's a programmable AND plane and programmable OR plane. And this is a, if you are using this kind of notation, it's an unprogrammed. This is called as an unprogrammed notation. If it is a into mark or X mark, it's a connect one, it's a fixed one. Into means it's a fixed line, and this is a disconnect one. If you don't have any of this two, if you don't have any kind of these two notations on this lines, it's an disconnect one. So now it's an programmable one. You can see that everywhere it's a circle. Inside the circle there's a cross mark is there. It means it can be programmed. There is nothing like a fixed line is not there. So both coming to the AND plane, even in the AND plane, all these points are, all the nodes are programmable, and also coming to the OR plane, all the nodes are programmable. Now you kindly listen carefully regarding what is meant by PLA and how this particular PLA will be working. So let us see this one. PLA is a first developed PLD based upon the idea that the logic functions can be realized in some of the products. You'll be here you'll be using about some of the product. That's a SOP form is being used here. A PLA comprises of a collection of AND gates. Collection of AND gates is there that feeds a set of OR gates. What is happening here? PLA will be having a collection of AND gates. These particular AND gates will be giving an input to the OR gates. So that's why I have told that one. A PLA will be having a collection of AND gates which will be feeding the OR gates. So this PLA is based upon what kind of a form? It is on the form of SOP, some of the products. Thus, a PLA maps a set of Boolean functions in a canonical order. This PLA, with the help of PLA, we can even design any kind of Boolean function in a form of canonical order. That is, two-level SOP forms into a geometric structure. That means that you can design any kind of two-level SOP forms. You can devise, see here, now there are two levels of SOP forms can be designed over here. This is for the first one and second one. You can design any kind of two-level sum of the product forms in a geometrical structure. For any kind of Boolean equation, you can draw the PLA structure, or else even it will be the same in the case of PAL also. You can draw any kind of PAL structure for the Boolean equations. So now let us enter into much more detail about what is meant by PLA. A PLA consists of an AND plane, you can see it consists of an AND plane and also it consists of an OR plane for each input which is variable in a Boolean equation. If you are having a Boolean equation, take any kind of Boolean equation. For that Boolean equation, each input which is variable in the Boolean equation, there is an input signal to the AND plane. There is an input signal in the AND plane. If you are writing an Boolean equation, then definitely each of the input, let it be y equal to AB plus CD. Then A, B, C, D is the inputs. These inputs are variables. These are the variables which are used as an input to the AND plane. So now this becomes A, B, C, and D. So this becomes as a inputs. For every input which is variable in the Boolean equation, there is an input signal to the AND plane. An AND plane produces a set of product terms by performing the AND operation. We know that one. Whenever an AND plane is working, definitely AND gate will be producing a product term. So whenever this AND plane performs some operation, it will be producing always a set of product terms. And the OR plane, what is the OR plane does? The OR plane will be generating an output by performing the OR operation. So ultimately, the OR plane will be generating an output by performing this operation of the OR plane. That how does this operation works? The operation of the OR plane will be working on the products which are being generated by the AND plane. So whenever this AND plane produces some output, that output will become as a products of this inputs of the variables, and that products will be given as an input to the OR plane, and the OR plane will be producing an output which is being fed from the AND plane. So this is a general working condition of how a PLA will be working. PLA will be working on basically on these two types of planes, that is a AND plane and also OR plane. So in this way we can write any kind of PLS, and we can even draw the any kind of PLS for any n number of Boolean equations.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, what is the use of X and Y, sir?
Hmm?
X and Y.
See here, just in order to make you understand, I have given these examples. You see now, if this is an input, okay, what I have told in this particular diagram, I'm having the two inputs here. What are the two inputs? As I told just now, I have given one example, right? If I have taken an example of Boolean equations like AB plus CD, then definitely what happens there, you are supposed to use the four variables will be there. But here in this particular case, in this particular diagram which I have put it on this particular slide, there are two inputs. What are the two inputs? The two inputs are X and Y, which have been given over here. Is it okay? So now this becomes the two inputs for this particular AND plane. And again, depending upon this outputs, that becomes as input to the for the OR plane, it will be producing the outputs of output 1, output 2, and output 3 and 4. So this is how it will be working. Not only this one, this has been designed with the help of two inputs only, this particular diagram.
Sir, one more doubt, sir. You have said that we should keep A, B, C, D. So where we should
just a minute. For that one, I can give an example. If it is an ABCD, let me take an example of an XOR gate. XOR means I'm talking about the functionality of an XOR logic. What is an XOR logic functionality? It is A bar B plus A B bar. That is my case. Okay. Assume that this is A and this is B. Then what happens? You can see that one. One is a normal buffer and other one is an inverter. It means what? This one will become as an
X bar.
This becomes an X and this becomes X bar. This becomes Y and this becomes my Y bar. Have understood, ma'am?
Yes,
is it
sir.
clear? So
Yes,
that's all. If you are having some three inputs, take an example like if you are having three inputs, inputs are X1, X2, and X3. If there are three inputs, X1, X2, X3 means again you will be adding another term. Let me take my inputs. Okay, since I have taken in this one X and Y, let me take another input Z. Z is my another input. Then what happens? I'll be extending all these lines over here. Then the two sets of one buffer and one inverter will be coming. Then I'll be using Z and Z bar will be given as an input to the AND plane. Have you got my point or not?
After forming the AND plane, the product terms will be formed.
The product terms will become as an input to the OR plane.
And, for OR gate, we will do addition operation by adding.
It does the OR operation.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So ultimately,
for example, here we have kept xy bar plus x bar y, sir. Plus is the operation performed by OR gates, right, sir?
Yeah.
Okay,
These
sir.
have been performed by OR gates. You can see here now.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Actually, if I had a kind of a board and chalk kind of teaching, I would have explained more number of examples. By taking more number of examples, we can draw this complete PLA on the board. Not only this one example I have given here, we can draw like a in my notes, if you see, there are some n number of examples, like I can take a x1, x2, x3 as an inputs, then ultimately it will be producing as an output, so different outputs will be coming out. So those outputs will be designed, that will be obtained with the help of this OR operation, and also the product of this AND operations. Okay, this is regarding the PLA. Now you can see this one, programmed AND plane and also programmed OR plane. This is one kind of operation. See now, just now I have given one example, right? I have told only X and Y. Here I have taken an example of X, Y, Z. You can see how it looks. Okay, you'll be programming this one in this particular direction, where you can see now, see this one. If I want to program this one in this particular line, what are these two lines are programmed? What are the two lines? This is Y bar and this is Z. So that's why I have got the output of this particular AND plane is Y bar Z. And in this case, it is only programmed at these two lines. What are the two lines? It is X and Z bar. So I have got the output of X, Z bar. In this case, the three lines have been programmed. Yeah, what are the three lines? It depends on the equation which you are writing this one. The three lines are X bar, it is Y bar and Z. So we have got the output is called, the programmed outputs are X bar, Y bar and Z, and ultimately here it is X and Y. So X and Y. So now this becomes, this products will become as an input to the OR plane, and this OR plane will be producing an output. Okay. So this is one kind of small example of taking three inputs into consideration. So now let us study about PAL. The earlier one was, it is a PLA where and logic will be programmable and also OR logic will be programmable. But when it comes to this particular point of PAL, in the PAL, you can, I have told in the earlier in the earlier slides of this lecture also, the AND is programmable and OR is fixed. OR is fixed. So that's a major difference between PLA and PAL. In the PLA, both AND plane and also OR plane are being programmable. But when it comes to PAL, only the OR is programmable, AND is programmable, OR is fixed. So now let us study in detail about what is this PAL. PAL has got a very wide programmable AND plane for the ANDing the inputs together. It has got a very wide programmable AND plane which is used for ANDing of the inputs. However, the OR plane is fixed. It means that if it is fixed, means which is limiting the number of turns that can be OR together. When you are trying to fix that particular plane, means you are limiting the number of programmable which can be programmable. So that's a major difference between AND plane and also OR plane. The next one, the main advantage of this particular PLA compared to the PAL. See, let us see the advantage. The PALs are simpler to manufacture, thus it require, these are less expensive. Whenever this particular PLAs are simple to manufacture, then definitely what happens, the cost of manufacturing also reduces. So therefore, it is less expensive than compared to PLA. And also this particular PAL are faster than the PLAs. Why it is faster than the PLAs? Because in PLA, you will be always, you are supposed to program the both the sets of planes. You'll be programming AND plane and also you'll be programming the OR plane. Programming means what? You're rewriting the data. You're trying to give some inputs. But when it comes to this particular PAL, here completely one set of plane is fixed. Whenever it is completely fixed, then definitely what happens? You're not programming that one. If you're not programming, then definitely the number of instructions which are given to that PAL will be reduced, and the fastness of that particular PAL will increase than compared to the PLA. So that is how it is different from the PLA. And apart from this one, here other basic logic devices such as even the multiplexers or XOR XORs and latches are also been added to the inputs and also outputs. You can see that one when you try to study the CPLDs. In the CPLDs, we'll be using all this one. Apart from when it comes to compared to the PLA and PAL, in the PLA we'll be using other logic designs also been used, which are exclusive OR gates have been used, XOR gates have been used, latches have been used, and also multiplexers have been used, which have been added to the inputs and also to the outputs of this particular PALs. So most importantly, here we can understand that the clocked, whenever it comes to the multiplexers or latches, it means what? You're trying to use the clocks. Most importantly, the clocked elements typically like flip-flops are included in this particular PAL. Flip-flops with the clock signal is mainly used to store the value which is produced from the OR gate. Whichever has been coming from the OR gate, flip-flops with the help of clocked inputs have been used to store that particular value of the OR gate. So now apart from this one, this PALA with the extra circuitry at the OR plane is also known as a macro cell. Whenever you use this extra circuitry, what are the extra circuitry? Just now I told, right? Multiplexers, XOR gates, latches, all these are the extra circuitry which are called as an which have been used in the OR plane, which is called as a macro cell. This is the main difference between the PLA and PAL. And these devices like PALs are now able to implement a large number of logic functions, including the clocked sequential logic, which are needed for the state machines. You might have studied about finite state machines in your digital logics course. In the digital electronics, we'll be studying about FSMs. In the FSMs, that particular FSMs will be requiring sequential clocked circuits. So for the designing of or implementing of FSM, there's a finite state machines. You can even use this PLA. Why? Because it's having an extra cell. Extra cells have been added to the OR plane, which is called as a macro cell. So therefore, PALs can be used for the large number of logics implementation rather than compared to the PAL. So now this was a major, like I can tell that this particular usage of PAL compared to PAL, which has been used for implementing of this FSM, it has become a major important development that allows the PAL to replace much of the standard logic, which is mainly used in the many designs. So now we can say that whenever we are using this clocked functions have been used here, again this particular PAL has got a fixed OR plane. Therefore, PAL is much faster than compared to the PLA. So this is regarding what is meant by PLA and also the PAL logics. So this is regarding the two types of PLDs. You can see one of the PAL expansion. This is how we'll be using an expanders. Expanders have been used. These are macro cells which we can use here. We can add the macro cells over here. And let us see now the difference between PLA and PAL in detail. Whatever we have studied up to now, I just try to put it in one slide. PLA is more flexible than PAL since both are programmable. It means it is user friendly, where you can program easily. But when compared to the fastness, PAL will be much faster. Are programmable in PLS because both AND and OR planes are programmable. PAL are expensive. Why? Because you are trying to give some instructions. It needs an active planes to fabricate and have large proportional delay will be there. This is most important one. The proportional propagation delay in the PLA is much greater than compared to the PAL. And compared to this one, by using the fixed OR gates, PAL are cheaper and faster than the PLS. This is a cheaper. Why they are cheaper and faster? Because of this one particular plane, which is a fixed OR planes or gates. And logic expanders increase the flexibility of the PALs. Logic expanders means what? I have told about the different kinds of logics are being used, like multiplexers we can use XOR gates, we can use the OR gates, and also this particular expanders also are been called as a macro cells. Because of this one, there's a huge flexibility has been come in terms of PLA, but the result in significant propagation, it will be having some propagation delay, but that is not that so high as compared to the PLA. PAL usually contains the D flip-flops. D flip-flops have been used connected to the outputs of the OR gates. As I told in the previous slide, the outputs of this particular PAL is stored in the flip-flops I told. Usually we are using the D flip-flops where in order to store the outputs of the OR gates. And ultimately, this both the PAL and PALs are usually referred as a simple programmable logic devices. So this is a basic difference between what is PAL and PLA. So now coming to this SPLD in detail, if you study, if it is a ROM, in the definitely in the ROM, what happens? Read-only memory, the input connection matrix is hardware, and the user can only modify the output connection matrix. That is regarding how the ROM will be working. Inputs are been hardwired, and also output connection can only be modified. Compared to this PAL and GL, it's a generic array logic, and this is a programmable array logic. The output connection matrix is hardwired, and user can modify the input connection matrix. That's what we have seen right up to now in the PAL, where the output logic, that's a or plane, it's completely fixed. We cannot program that one, whereas the input can be programmed. So that's why we can see here now the user can modify the input connection matrix with respect to this PAL and also GAL. And in PLA, the user can modify both the input and also the output connections. It means that both the OR plane and also AND plane are programmable in PLA. Coming to this HPCPLDs, it's a complex programmable, two types already we have studied. Let us see in depth of this, what is some details regarding this two. Complex programmable logic device, it lies between the PAL and FPGA. Definitely this complex programmable, we'll be using the PALs again in order to design the CPLDs. It lies, this CPLD lies in between these two kind of PLDs, that's a PAL and a FPGA, in the degree of complexity. Whenever it is complex, it means that CPLD is less complex than compared to the FPGA board. It is inexpensive also compared to this FPGA board. Coming to the FPGA board, it's a programmable gate array. In this one, the parallel design operation will be done. It is a complete parallel design operation. It is a fast turnaround design where you can design this one much faster, and is also faster than compared to the CPLDs. And again, array of logic cells surrounded by the programmable input output blocks. So definitely here what happens in this logics have been surrounded with the help of input and output blocks. You'll understand what is this surrounding of input and output blocks around this particular array logic while studying the boundary scan technique. In the one of the slide I have given the boundary scan technique, there you can understand completely around this FPGA board there will be like input and output blocks will be surrounded. That's the meaning of this particular line. You'll understand that one in the boundary scan technique slide. So this is how it looks like. FPGA board, you can see here. This is a complete block. It's a logic block. These are the input and output blocks. Well, just now I told right in the previous one. Array logic is surrounded by the programmable input output blocks. This is the surrounding of input output blocks around this logic blocks. CPLD configuration. If you see the CPLD configuration, we know that it's a CPLD is nothing else but it's a combination of logic devices and also memory elements. We have seen the combination of memory elements in case of exclusively in case of PALs, and memory stores a pattern of PLD which was programmed with the help of this one EPROM, that's which is non-volatile and also reprogrammable. EEPROM, that's a electrically erasable PROMs have been used over here. It's only the erasable PROMs. EPROMs means erasable programmable ROM, that's a read-only memory. EEPROM means electrically erasable programmable ROM, which is again a ROM is non-volatile and reprogrammable. Coming to the other type of PLD configurations, we can design it with the help of SRAM, which is a volatile, and also flash memory has been used, which is again non-volatile memory. And another kind of memory which can be used as an anti-fuse. It is a non-volatile, which is non-programmable. That's the major difference between the anti-fuse and the other types. EPROM and EEPROMs are programmable, reprogrammable, but when it comes to this one, no reprogrammability has been done with the help of this anti-fuse kind of memory. So this is the configuration how a PLDs have been designed. So you can see here now all this one, all the data I have put in one particular slide where reprogrammable has been done. Only the in case of anti-fuse, you cannot reprogram this one. Okay, and volatile, which is volatile, SRAM is volatile, and all those are non-volatile kind of what is memory elements. So conclusion in this particular PLD is what we have studied. We have studied about what is meant by history of PLD, definition of this particular PLDs, programmable logic devices, its purposes, advantages and types, and also configuration. So this is regarding what is meant by PLD. How does a PLD works and what is PLDs? Okay, now let us study about